Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the City of Daytona Beach Community Redevelopment Agency Workshop. We're delighted to have each of you here. At this time, I would like to turn the meeting over to our city manager, Mr. Fiacher, and allow him to frame the meeting and presentation.
Honorable Mayor, Commissioners, we are delighted to have this opportunity to share. I wanted to give some background information. If you all recall, I think around January, we had a workshop here where the staff presented you all with this particular book. This book encompasses all of the master plans. It gave examples of projects, things that we've done in our community. And I just wanted to make sure that you all had this book because this is the information that they've been working off for many years, that even prior to some of you all being on the commission have been a part of this, the redevelopment process. The last time we met, there were some more additional items that were requested at the last commission meeting, but the initial thoughts for this workshop that you all requested was to go over an update on the accomplishments of the CRA, and also be able to look at the priorities going forward, because there were some concerns that some of these priorities may need to change. Some of them are maybe outdated. And so there was discussion about making sure that we can get what do you want your priorities to be as we continue to finance projects within the CRA and budget those projects. And so the staff has worked very well in the redevelopment area, working in concert also with members of the communications team to present this booklet for you. I will say, I was kind of shocked. There was an error within the books, and they literally just had to make some changes in the last hour that they were upstairs. So I know within the book you'll have commission priorities for each CRA, but I would ask that you allow for Mr. Thomas to do the PowerPoint presentation, and also he'll be ready, as well as his team, if there are questions and concerns after his presentation. So, Mr. Thomas, I'll let you move forward with the workshop, and then we'll get to the Q&A from our elected officials.
Thank you, Mr. Fiacher. To the Mayor, City Commission, thank you for allowing us to be here today to make this presentation to you. We're excited about the things that we're about to unveil to you so that we could work together on improving the community. First, I want to just talk about the mission of the CRA, and it really is bordered by what the Florida statute says, and that is to eliminate blight. Eliminate blight in all of your CRAs. In addition to creating sustainability in your beachside community, your midtown community, your downtown community, as well as your Blue Road community. And the whole purpose, though, is to hopefully create some incentives that would be attractive to businesses and to make the area more attractive to as well. On the forefront is encouraging economic development, improving the quality of life, not only just in the CRA, but the whole entire city. So let's talk about the Florida statute, because that's the basis of everything that we do. And so Florida Statute 163 allows cities and counties to create community redevelopment areas to improve undeveloped properties, and as well as remove blighted in these communities. The CRA, of course, allows you to create this plan, and here are some of the things that you can do in the CRA as part of your CRA. You can buy property, you can lease property, you can acquire vacant property, you can acquire buildings as well. You can construct new streets, you can construct underground utilities, you can build parks, you can build playgrounds. You can do a hotel, but it has to be in conjunction with a convention center banquet facility. You can also do a parking garage. And you can also support community policing. We call it innovative policing, and that comes from the statute. CRA funds, although in the statute it says you cannot construct or expand an administrative building such as City Hall, nor can you build a police department or a fire facility, unless it's in your redevelopment plan. And I can tell you it's not in the redevelopment plan, because it wasn't a forethought that we would use CRA funds to build some of these public facilities. You cannot spend money, CRA funds, on general operating expenses that your general fund should be responsible for. For an example, just street cleaning or street sweeping, you're not able to do that. Just general maintenance, things that maybe Public Works does now, that's in the general fund that he uses out of general fund. We couldn't do that with CRA money. Let's talk about when the CRAs were created. Believe it or not, since 1982, both CRAs, Main Street and Downtown, were created. Blue Road came along in 1986, Midtown was 1998, and South Atlantic was the last one. Now, where are we today? All CRAs, back in 2019, the state legislators said all CRAs will be terminated in 2039, September 30th of 2039. The only way that you can expand or operate beyond 2039 is that the governing body, which is Volusia County, has to allow you to expand your CRA, and it has to be by a majority vote. Now, how can you do that? The only way that, well, officially, that normally CRAs are doing it going beyond 2039 is that maybe they have a bond that's in place. Or you have some type of obligation, a 50-year like we do. We have a 50-year obligation with the riverfront, Esplanade. That is a reason to ask Volusia County to extend beyond 2039. So right now, as it stands, Volusia County says all CRAs in Volusia County must cease in 2036. In your packets, we have a 5-year expenses and revenues, and it's on the tab that says financial statements from 2019 to 2024. We have all of the revenues that were provided to the CRAs, all 5 CRAs, and we have all the expenses as well within the tab there. And at your leisure, you can take a look at, this is the audit portion of the CRA. Since 2019, let's talk about a little bit what the staffing was. Back in 2019 to 2022, we had a deputy city manager who was in charge of CRA with the CRA director. We had a Midtown CRA project manager. We had an office specialist. And in 2022, our city manager made a staffing change. I came on board. We remained an office specialist. We hired a downtown CRA project manager. The Midtown project manager was already here, and we created a Main Street South Atlantic project manager. And that's been the change since 2019 to 2025. Let's talk about the accomplishments for Blue Road. We're going to start with Blue Road. So, in the past 4 or 5 years in Blue Road, we were allocated over $230,000 for streetscape and beautification. All of these numbers that we tell you today, it comes from Springbrook, our accounting system that the city has, and it's not numbers that the redevelopment staff made up. It was numbers that we pulled from the system. But I can tell you, Commissioner Cantu, and before the meeting, she wanted me to check on Sweetheart and Sickler Drive to make sure that the numbers are official, and we will be doing that with our accounting department. We also had $118,000 indicated from our Springbrook system that we allocated toward Blue Road Bridge. I was talking to David a few minutes ago, and it was about some improvements. Sweetheart, Sickler Drive, $35,000 was allocated. And before we move on with Blue Road, I also want to bring to your attention in your book, if you can take a second or two, the grants that were allocated, and it's on, maybe if you turn a couple pages for Blue Road. In 2022, we provided $5,000 to Slow Power LLC. In 2023, there was a $6,000 payment. In 2024, we awarded just over $6,000 to Suncoast, and no grants were awarded in 2025. So in the last 4 years or so, 4 years, we've allocated over $17,000 of grant money just in Bellew Road. In the account? I don't know right offhand how much, but I don't know. I can tell you that before it's over, before the meeting is over. The next CRA is downtown. So our downtown CRA.
Ken, your staff says that right now for grants in Bellew, it's $19,000.
$19,000.
Thank you.
Okay. So the accomplishments for downtown, let's get there. So Riverfront Esplanade, you all as a commission have awarded Riverfront Esplanade $1.2 million. And recently, we upped that number to $400,000. It was just over 8, and now it's 1.2 annually that we will be providing Riverfront Esplanade. That is doing a tremendous job of helping to attract entertainment here in our city. Streetscape enhancement, CRA funds was $792,000. Framework, we have an incentive agreement with Framework that is $7.5 million. They have, that is what we have committed to. And we have a host of holiday activities in the public plaza that we also contribute funding to, and that's as well as DDA, Downtown Development Authority. We provide funding to activities in our downtown community. Orange Avenue Trail, $63,000 was allocated, and all of this information is in your book as well, your 3-ring binder. Brown and Brown, back in 2021, we allocated $1,085,000 for their headquarters located in downtown. We've also allocated $24,000, or spent over $24,000 in the parking lot for wireless cameras. And just recently, within the past year, we've provided $16,000 to EV charging stations in our downtown community. And before I move on to the next CRA, I do want to bring to your attention in your book, there are some other projects that we've also allocated funding to, like Delta West. Just for the viewing audience, Delta West is an apartment complex, over 300 units. We have 80% of our TIF. Once it comes online, they build a product and they start leasing out space. They can apply for 80% of our tax dollars to support their project. And that was our commitment to bring Delta West to downtown, because that First Baptist facility, that site, has been vacant and dormant for quite a while. And in order to get that deal done, we had to commit our CRA dollars, which is expendable that is allowable use with your CRA, but it will go real far with trying to bring in some affordable housing. Some of the units will be affordable, folks who are not exceeding 120%. There will be 50 residents who will be receiving that benefit. They're also going to offer services to law enforcement, first responders, and educators. So that's really going to be a neat project once it comes online. I also want to bring to your attention the grants that we did for downtown. Downtown, I want to say downtown over the last 5 years has garnered more grant funding than anywhere in this city. And in the past 5 years, we've given over $800,000 to downtown businesses. Now, let's break that down. How does that look? In fiscal year 2021, we gave out $30,000. In fiscal year 2022, we gave out $67,000. In 2023, we gave out $139,000. In 2024, $146,000. In 2025, we gave out just shy of $500,000 to our downtown businesses. All well-deserved, though. And these businesses were very happy to receive this funding. We were glad to help them out. And there's a list in your book of all the businesses that were awarded. When I read this, and I was like, I didn't know we did that many grants, in the downtown community, but we did.
Are we allowed to ask questions or wait till the end? Sir?
We had to wait to the end unless it's just a.
Wait till the end?
So let's move on. I'll be quick. Let's move on to Main Street accomplishments. Main Street, we had a well-attended ceremony at Main Street with the coquina sign there at the beach approach, where the CRA committed over $785,000. Just want to say that when David came to me, he needed money to get it done, and he and I were boxing with each other, and he won because he got $785,000. But we were glad to support what he wanted because it was a long time coming. We needed a new sign on the beach approach there. The Daytona Beach Convention Hotel, Oak Ridge Utility Improvement, that is Proto Group, Daytona Grand. We provided over $1 million for that project. And so here are some of the CRA contributions, 50% of the ad valorem. And that project is looking really good too as well. We provided over $6 million in land acquisition. If you add up the Corbin building, some of the vacant land that we acquired that's on the ocean, and some of the other projects that were done. In totality, we spent over $6 million acquiring property in the beachside. Charging station, we also did contribute, just as downtown. We paid $8,000 for the charging station. $1.5 million went toward underground utilities when Florida Power had the open up the road there. We contributed $1.5 million out of the Main Street CRA. Senior Frogs, we got our fingers crossed. We hope that Senior Frogs commit, well, they have committed, but we hope they build it, but we know how the market is going now on retail. But once they do build and construct their restaurant, we're going to contribute $500,000 toward their project. Boardwalk extension, which is happening right now, we're paying for the design of the boardwalk. So that's $170,000 that we're paying to that David and his group, Public Works, is the project manager on. And that's just for the design. We will, in your booklet, we do have a project, the cost, estimated cost, in your booklet for once the project the design is done and David puts it out to bid. We think that it's going to be several $1 million, and we're going to participate in making sure that boardwalk is built. Main Street streetscape design, which we just had 80-something people attended that meeting, and we got various comments from the business community, just the general public. But we paid $59,000 for that design, and we really believe the Main Street needs an upgrade, and we're hoping that this upgrade will also create some entertainment and some excitement on Main Street because it needs an upgrade. And so we participated in paying the full amount to make sure that design is done. Once the design is done, and we're going to participate in the construction of Main Street as well. So it won't be just a set of plans that sits on the shelf. We're going to fund the construction as well, hopefully if David makes sure the numbers don't get too high that it's unaffordable for us. Grandview, several years ago, you all bought the property, the duplex on Grandview. Our operational costs throughout maybe a couple years, we spent about $34,000 because we cannot allow our property to be in disrepair, so we spent money to make sure that it looks good. But I can tell you, we do want to, at some point, we're going to come to you all because we're ready to sell that property. Some more accomplishments, $102,000 was spent on the East ISB streetscaping, and you all have seen the lights throughout Main Street. I mean, they've done a fabulous job. We spent $30,000, and it cost us just over $7,000 a year to keep those lights populated and redone and rehashed. Boardwalk overhead sign, we just put over $2,000 in that. And before I move on, I want to bring to your attention the Main Street grants that we also provided. And let's see where those are. So the Main Street grant starting in 2020, 2021, we provided like $21,000. In 21, 22, we provided $5,000. In 22, 23, we provided $22,000. In 23, 24, we jumped up to $151,000. And you can see all of the applicants that received the grants. And in 2024, 2025, just this past fiscal year, we spent over $258,000 providing grants to our businesses on the beach side. So let's move to Midtown. Midtown accomplishments. So over the past several years, we have provided CRA dollars of $30,000 for a street team. Several years ago, I don't know if it was 2019, 2020, somewhere around there, our CRA staff was giving the Salvation Army some dollars to help pick up trash throughout the community. And that was our first sort of entry into creating a street team to help with cleaning up the community. We also provided $8,000 in the Dr. King and ISB, the Orange Avenue streetscape. The Midtown Sundays, that is at Daisy Stocking Park. We provided $6,000 at Daisy Stocking Park. We provide that money because we want people to come out and be entertained at Daisy Stocking. There are people that live right there in that community that we've talked to, and we've encouraged them to come on out on Sunday and participate in some of the festivities. We spent $12,000 on creating a logo for Midtown. You all have seen that Midtown logo. Our CRA advisory board has gone through the exercise of helping them to fine-tune that logo, and we're at the point now we have a great logo that I think everybody agrees with, and that's part of the branding that we're spent over $24,000. Choice Neighborhood, we got awarded the Choice Neighborhood grant, and so it was an implementation grant, and so we committed $250,000 along with the Daytona Beach Housing Authority. Lighting along Dr. Bethune Boulevard, we paid $7,000 for that. Midtown Business Directory, so that we know who and where every business is in the Midtown community, at least on MMB and Dr. King Boulevard. That was a $7,400 expense to us. Land acquisition. To date, we spent about $4.3 million. And a lot of that is really the town center that we're projecting to develop. Some is on Dr. Bethune Boulevard. We bought some properties on Dr. Bethune Boulevard, and we bought some properties on Dr. King Boulevard as well. And those pictures Visuals are in your packet too as well, that we plan to build a town center and we plan to build some mixed-use projects. We also contributed $6,000 to EV station. And the grants, I have to talk about the grants that were awarded to as well. We did have some grants in Midtown. People did take advantage of the grants. In 2021, we provided $32,000 of grant funding. In 2022, we provided $11,000. In 2023, we provided $50,000. In 2024, we provided $70,000. In 2025, we provided over $100,000 of grant funds to various individuals, some residential grants for some fencing, as well as some of our commercial property owners received grant fundings too. We're going to move on to South Atlantic, and South Atlantic, I believe, is our last one. We helped with the upgrading of the electrical system at $32,000, land acquisition, $263,000, and this is where we're hoping to do a nice project on the South Atlantic CRA. And that was it, and I believe regarding any grant funding for South Atlantic, I will run through these just quickly. In 2021, we provided $24,000, 22, $25,000, 23, another 25. No money was awarded for 21, 22, or 23. It wasn't until 23, 24 we're awarded $19,500, and 24, 25 we're awarded $30,000, and that was our grant funding for South Atlantic. So here we are. We have a list of 9 topics or issues, or I would say categories of items that you would want to pay close attention to when you're talking about redevelopment. And all of those 9s have some consistency with all of the CRAs. So if you talk about needs of the CRA, you probably need to address all 9 of those in all 5 of our CRAs. Economic development, affordable and market rate housing, some type of infrastructure improvements, recreation definitely. Property acquisition, because there's blight in all of our CRAs. You would probably need to demo some properties. And we've talked about it, and you all have expressed that you want some more increased, security, armed and unarmed services in our CRAs. And 9 is removing just blight throughout. So with that said, we want to prioritize, we want you to prioritize to us what you would like to see in all of those CRAs before we leave here tonight. And our communication department has provided in your packet the commission priorities. It's in your packet. And we want just the mayor do a quick exercise with all commissioners, just jotting down what they would like to see as a priority in all of their in all of our CRAs. And your highest priority is marked with a number 1. So when you look at these priorities and the number 1 priority for you jumps off the page, you want to put a number 1 there. Or if it's not on the page, you can write it in and put a number 1. But this gives us a guidepost on what you want to see done over the next 12 months in our CRAs, in the 5 CRAs. Now, I can tell you this. We have a CRA plan, and everything that we do is based on the plan. We don't do anything outside the plan. So when David comes to me or someone from our utilities department and say, hey, Ken, can you participate? We have to make sure that what we expend with CRA dollars is attached to the CRA plan. We have to match it. So those 9 needs is somewhere in all of our 5 CRAs. And now we'll take any questions, or take some time to jot down what your priorities are. And if you have any questions for staff, questions for finances here, Public Works, you know, if we want to talk about, you know, some of the things, David did give us a proposal on how much it would cost to use Public Works staff. It's in your packet.
Mayor, can I address?
Yes.
The blue CRA,
Yes.
the priorities on here, I actually brought this up at a commission meeting with slides. The roundabout, the 4 corners, we do not have the money for that, plus the county's never been approached because we would have to have a county approval. And then the Holly Hill, that's probably been about 12 to 15 years. I talked to the Holly Hill mayor and he talked to the manager. No one's approached them since. And he doesn't believe, I mean, he doesn't believe anything could happen there as well.
Well, let's talk about the Holly
So
Hill.
that's why I'm asking, why do we have this on when we don't even have the ability to do anything or have the money to even do it?
Okay, let's start,
CRA.
well, let's go back to the roundabout, the 4
Okay.
corners. So we've gotten a concept from Public Works on how that 4 corners can
I
work.
understand.
So there is property right now that we would have to acquire. We couldn't acquire all of the properties right now, because you're right, we don't have all the money, but we got to start somewhere. And there is property right now that we have money in our CRA budget that we can afford to buy, to start it.
Okay, but no one has approached the county as well.
I'm not sure, David. Can you help me here?
Hi. Good evening, David Waller, Public Works Director. We have not approached the county specifically about this project. I've had conversations with the Public Works Director just in jest, but until we have a concept that we think is constructible, we don't have anything to really bring to the county. The expectation from the county is that we would take maintenance of any non-traditional road improvements we do within their right-of-way. We get a right-of-way use agreement, and we would maintain the improvements similar to what we do on Main Street, where we did similar type improvements, not a roundabout, but non-traditional, non-county type product. I believe it would be something that could be, the county will be receptive to. The conversation would have to take place at a city manager, county manager level on what happens with the bridge, because there is a roadway section there that includes the bridge, which obviously the city of Daytona Beach has no interest in being an owner of a drawbridge, nor does the county. So that would be part of that conversation, but I'm confident that we can work that out with the county if that becomes a priority for the commission.
So Josh Wagner owns that property in the corner, and when I put all the listings of all that property to do this roundabout, there's no way we have the money to even think about a roundabout.
Well, we wouldn't do it by ourselves.
And I don't think the last time we talked about this, that our residents even wanted this done. So, I mean, that's just,
And I think that's the importance of why we're here for
Correct.
commission priorities, because if you all, as a majority commission, say that you don't want us to pursue those acquisitions of those properties or the roundabout, when we've come back with this priorities, you say no or yes, and then that comes off of the table for staff to keep going, looking at acquiring properties in that area. Because although we may think it's important, you all get to make that decision.
okay. And then I have brought up a lot of pictures. I mean, we have broken sidewalks. I mean, I'm sure everyone has seen those pictures over there. It's a mess over there. And I would like to see some money, I hope everyone else would, to clean up
And you're talking about the Beach Street,
Beach
North
Street,
Beach
yes.
Street, yeah,
It's-
yeah.
it's really
Ken, are
bad.
you able to show, because there might be, I don't think you can pull up on the map, there may be a concept of that some of the things that commissioners have been asking for may not all be part of the CRA, that
Right.
you all cannot utilize those resources. And I know we talked about it in the past. And so I don't know all of the levels. So if David, if you can
Yeah.
get the roadways that general funds.
Yeah, I can speak a little bit about North Beach. North Beach is a project that's on our radar. Utilities just recently finished a force main project, and we've completed a full survey of kind of the Mason to Fairview section. We're doing in-house design. It's not a funded project at this point, so we're doing an in-house design with our staff engineers to come up with a solution for North Beach. It's basically going to be a reconstruction of the roadway, sidewalks, roadway surface, to create a much better roadway section. It is outside the CRA. We had on our side, had Envision reaching in his pocket. He says no to me way more than he says yes. And it came to our attention here quite recently,
Yeah.
honestly, on our side, that the CRA stops at the eastern edge of North Beach. And so, where we thought that was in the CRA, it's not. The parcels are, but the roadway is not. So,
Right.
so we're expecting to be able to work on a funding solution for that once we get some roadway design work done. We get some numbers so we know what the answer is. Part of that will be shouldered by utilities because they're going to do some drainage work as well. So they're planning to fund that through their stormwater funds. And then we will work with what is already allocated in our resurfacing money for part of the work. And then we may have to work with the manager for the rest. But we don't know that answer on the total dollar amount.
But we have a lot of parcels over there that are boarded up, broken windows. And I have said it before, a code needs to be over there. There's a mattress that's been sitting there for over a year, embedded in the cement over there, too. I even showed you a picture of that. I mean, it's just, it needs some help over there.
So, if you remember any of the pictures that Stacy showed last week,
Not last week, that was Marina, about a month ago.
I'm on Beach
No, that was a
No?
month ago, but
Okay.
I did.
The previous meeting.
Street, the previous
Yep.
meeting. Which part of that was in the CRA that could be addressed?
The only portions of those pictures would be things that were on streets east of North Beach. If it required a funding, I mean, picking up
Yeah.
trash and stuff is not a funding issue. It's just
Right.
finding it, locating it right.
Mhm.
So that's anything, as soon as you get to the eastern back or right of way on North Beach, that's the end of the CRA. And west of that is all
City.
non-CRA, be general fund driven, right?
Did you say that you have a possible funding source to do the underground on North Beach?
The Utilities Department will participate with any water, sewer, which they've already done, and stormwater issues. They are working as well with their in-house staff to create a design for those improvements. It'll all happen at one time. So we'll work with utilities to create a funding plan on how to do that. From a timing perspective, our expectation is that we're working on design now. We let construction of Beach Street Phase 2 first of this year, work through that construction, and then by then we should be ready to move on to the next chunk of Beach Street, kind of working our way north.
Does Phase 2 include the roundabout or not roundabout section? It's
Fa-
totally separate.
Phase 2 stops at Michigan Avenue, deliberately to avoid the intersection and not impact the ability to construct that because of the intersection.
So I'm not sure, how many years ago was it that we went through all of the charrettes? Do you remember?
3 years ago?
About 3 or 4 years ago, with regards to the roundabout, right?
Correct.
So we went through all of that to then potentially decide not to do it.
Yep, and that was that decision we made at our staff level because the complications of the roundabout, the geometry of it, honestly doesn't make a big improvement unless you own more property to try to pull Baloo and North Beach into it. And then the realities of the county, we didn't want to jeopardize the ability to construct the rest of Phase 2 because of that small piece of the project. We pulled it out.
And that's why the priority list is because some people want the roundabout. some people don't. Also, I just want to put for Letitia, as she keeps notes and staff, make sure we provide the maps in our follow-up emails to the commissioners of what that roadway is, so they can know exactly what is part of the CRA and part of general fund, because we're going to give more information after the meeting based off of your Q&As. We're going to respond to those as well, in writing.
Well,
Do this.
I'm gonna go with Commissioner Parrish still, because I think removal of blight is a low-hanging fruit that we probably could technically, as we said, begin working on right now. And she talked about that a lot quite last week. I think that that's going to be one of my top priorities, and public safety. So especially public safety within areas, and I know this is not within the CRA, but those boxes, electrical boxes that were open with pulled out wires and stuff that you showed pictures of, that's extremely concerning to me at our parks, because one of those was right off of where a park is located.
That was on the marina.
Okay, on the marina, right, on the marina. That's highly concerning to me, and I think that that's public safety and quality of life always should be top tier. We don't want to, I don't believe we want to do things where we put ourselves in potential liability for lawsuits because of something that we simply could have taken care of or fixed, or something that we knew about and did not fix. That's concerning and problematic to me. So those two things are going to be my main things right now, my main concerns right now.
Commissioner Henry, that was utility box improvements or wrappings or just repairs?
Repairs, I believe.
Okay.
Repairs.
Repairs. All right.
And it's by the water.
Okay.
And we're going to want you to put them on these forms also,
Yes.
as we talked.
I'm just stating.
Yes, sir.
I didn't say a word.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
I guess my whole vision for the Baloo Road area would be to attract private investors to create an extension of what they're doing at 400 Beach to make it more residential, riverside kind of neighborhood. The thing is, in order for us to attract these private investors, I think we need to work on our stormwater storage, drainage, because people aren't going to want to invest there if we have flooding. So no matter how much money we're spending on buying blighted properties, I think that's what the focus should be. And I don't know what income is going to be, the revenues that's going to be coming in for the next amount of, until this sunsets, how much money is going to be there? And can we work in a phased project to work on the stormwater storage? I don't think.
We were hoping that that roundabout, would create, or at least eliminate some of that stormwater, but, I don't know. Because the fishing hole, as you see, it has issues when it rains. There is some property in that intersection that is up for sale. And the one property that Commissioner Cantu mentioned, that property is up for sale too as well.
But
But we wouldn't try
He's
to buy
asking-
these properties ourselves.
Oh, because
We
he's
would look
asking
for
millions
partners to
of
do it.
dollars for that.
Over two.
Also, Ken, are you able, or Kylie or Christine, are you able to say, going back to Commissioner Parris's, we'll never have enough money in a CRA to be able to solve stormwater. So how much money do we collect in revenues for Baloo? Because we're going to definitely, if we were to go out, we'll have to go out of a CRA and use general funds or utility funds to even accomplish.
Yeah, you're right. We wouldn't have enough.
Because how much do we get each year for Baloo Road in revenue?
It was just.
Or not revenue, or
300.
300,000.
Yeah,
That's
just
it?
over
300?
So when you look at a stormwater project of what we're trying to even get with the Army Corps of Engineers, I mean, it's
I thought it
millions
was
of.
286.
You know, it's just shy of
Shot,
three.
shot, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. 290, something
Yeah.
like that. So I just, I
So,
want,
I mean, for me, I guess I would kind of want to know, I appreciate knowing that, because like Commissioner Paris, I have, public safety, quality of life, that's across the board for all CRAs for me, and flooding for that particular area, especially with North Beach Street. But for us to kind of say, what is realistic for priorities, we kind of have to know how much money we're working with in each CRA, given that we do have existing costs. So what is left over that we can actually do anything with? Otherwise, you could put anything on here. So what do you have left for downtown, let's say? Like, what are we working with for downtown?
Probably, with all the allocations, I wouldn't want to say today because we have the riverfront, we have the west, Delta West.
West.
Um,
But working off of your priorities, Commissioner, will allow for us to bring back budgetary issues or allocations that say, because right now, using for example, Commissioner Cantu, she says, let's not move forward with the Blue Road roundabout. If we are setting aside, and I'm just using for a round number, if we're setting aside $100 for Blue Road out of a $200 budget, and you all say, no, that becomes available again. So the thing in not knowing everyone's priorities, as you just said it, 5 or 6 years ago, you all did a charrette saying we should do a roundabout.
Okay.
Now it's not there. So my thing is, we not being able to know what your priorities, staff is creating priorities based off of this book that was done for many years.
So, I mean, for example, when you say waterfront development in downtown, where exactly do you mean? Because we have land that cannot be developed down there without state support.
well, you got the marina.
So, but we have some issues there too. We cannot just do anything there, right?
Right.
But you also have Blue Road. You have properties on Blue Road that are on the lake, on the river there.
So that'll be the Marina Village and North Beach Street concept versus the waterfront one here.
And so how much money do we have in the Blue Road after everything? Salaries and everything?
Yes, I'm gonna ask Tyler to come
Are
forward.
we seeing
'cause
the issue?
She has the
Yeah.
numbers.
Good evening, Kylie Trabuzzi, Budget Officer. So for Blue Road, we're looking at least in FY 2025, there was a surplus of about $80,000 after salaries and charges for services. And we currently have about $2.2 million set aside for projects as is. That is mainly the land acquisition, beautification.
You're talking about Blue?
Yes, ma'am.
And what'd you say?
80 and 2.2.
Yeah, so we have 80 in surplus from last year, and currently we have about 2.2 million. That's in just projects alone. That includes the streetscape, land acquisition that could be reallocated if need be.
So what we're saying is that knowing that we have 2.2, let's say, that we could actually pivot right now and decide to stop kind of amassing for the projects and reposition that money right now to something else in Blue Road. Is that what we're saying?
If that is what the commission desires and it's
Mm-hmm.
allowable, we can, yes.
I prefer, just like Commissioner May, to know exactly how much we have to work with in every CRA, and then actually go back and bring this back at the next commission meeting, so I have time to actually look and not something that's just thrown in front of me right now and have to decide.
That's not a problem. We can give you
We
exactly.
actually have it now. She has it now.
I know, give me the figures, but I would like to actually be able to look at this and see what priorities and know how much money is in each CRA that we have to work with. Do you understand what I'm, yes. Than just you telling me what it is right now and then having to decide right this minute with 5 CRAs, because this
Well,
is.
we weren't asking you all to decide because we would have to bring this back in a public meeting for a vote. So we'll add that to the list for the entire, what's available from Kylie to send out in our electronic communications tomorrow.
That's
Do it now?
Great.
But Commissioner May wants to hear those numbers.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So, just going through, I'll start with downtown. 2025, currently there was an overage of $143,000 in the positive, and we have $504,000 set aside for projects. Main Street, there was an overage last year of $477,000, and we have $11.8 million set aside for projects.
What did you say, 100.8?
11.8.
As I said before, Blue Road had an overage of $80,000 with $2.2 million set aside for projects. Midtown had an overage of $556,000 with $2.3 million set aside for projects. And South Atlantic had an overage of $224,000, and there's currently a little over $1 million set aside for projects.
So hypothetically, if we went to
First time I
Midtown,
ever heard this.
we went to Midtown and we said, oh, this let's take the 556. It's sitting there right now, correct? And that will be for grants or anything else that's coming up in this budget.
Is 556 or 56,000?
How much was it?
56, was it?
I thought it was 556.
How much did you say?
Was it
Brenda?
5?
Midtown?
Pull up the mic,
Yeah, Midtown.
If commissioners would pull their mics
Sorry.
forward, that's what citizens are asking.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, please send that out again tomorrow, just to make sure ours is correct.
The Midtown overage? And then the balance, I think, was 2.3, but what's the overage?
Midtown's $556,000.
556.
Okay, so
I mean,
I just want to try and see if
Jen.
whatever reason we said, we want to take 500,000 and use that toward rehabilitation of properties. We could do that right now. We could come to that decision.
I would have to check to make sure it's consistent with the plan.
So if it's consistent with the plan, yes.
yeah.
The question, the answer is yes.
And it would have to make sure that the budget balances, so it would have to come from somewhere else in the budget, but
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
And the reason I say it because housing and rehab is normally not something we
Right,
spend on
but-
with CRA dollars. We normally use a community development block grant.
Okay.
Housing development, yes, with CRA dollars to build houses or to acquire land to build houses. But housing rehab is something that you typically don't do.
Develop.
Okay.
I didn't get to catch the last one. Would you repeat that for me, please? South
South
Atlantic?
Atlantic, 224.
$224,000 of leftover from last year, and we have just over $1 million set aside in projects currently.
And I can tell you, Mayor, Commissioners, at the Midtown funding, we have a spending deadline that's coming in March, so we're going to have some acquisitions that's going to be coming to you in January. So whatever you hear or see in Midtown, we expect to spend all of that by March. We have to spend it based on our loan agreement with Truist Bank. We have to spend that money by March of next year.
We have to spend the 2.3?
No.
It's
the
1
56.
point, I think we got 1.1 left in the $6 million, 6.5 million that we have, that we originally took a loan out for Midtown. And so we just got over 1.5 that we need to spend by March of 2026.
Ken, what happens if we don't spend it?
Christine?
Christine, we can't hear you.
Christine Aiken, Assistant Finance Director. If we're not fully drawn down on the loan by March of next year, the bank will still have to have that loan. we could be able to, we'll have to spend it on capital items, but we'll still be paying debt service on that loan. So it'd still be a loan to us, whether or not we use it the way we have intended.
So how much time do we have to spend it on capital projects?
March of next year.
So we have to spend it either on
But
purchasing something or on a capital improvement project?
the loan was fully acquired by the Midtown.
Yeah, everything that's consistent with the Midtown redevelopment plan, you can spend the money, the loan money.
But she's
In
saying
Midtown.
no matter what, we're gonna be having to pay on that debt service if we do it for that, or if we
We
transition that
will.
loan into another project.
Can I see a copy of that loan? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you already know what you're going to spend it on?
Oh, yes. You know, acquisition, real estate, it takes time. I mean, we've been working on this for 3 years. And we're spent, in the 3-year span, or really 2.5 year, we're spent over $4 million acquisition of properties. It takes a while to spend it. But we're down to 1.5. We're getting close.
Is it in the same area where you were already purchasing?
No, we're all over Midtown, the CRA. I mean, we're spreading it out quite a bit.
Did anyone meet the deadline for Campbell Hotel?
Oh, Campbell Hotel, we got one proposal, and that proposal was not to, portions of that proposal that was submitted was to demolish the building. And one of the things that you all, well, the individual who came forward and the others said that they would not demolish the structure. And so that one proposal involves portions of the building being demolished. So it is not consistent with what we thought we were going to get. And so we're going to propose that we just put it out to bid and give everybody a chance. Now, I will say this.
Because we have, December 17th is the deadline people are supposed to be making.
Absolutely, yes. But I will say this, there was another unsolicited proposal that came to us, a whole new building. The existing structure would be torn down and it would be a new structure built. So to make things fair, we would want to put it out to bid and allow all of those individuals to submit. So the one that we did get before the deadline was not a total rehab of the building. It was a demo. Portions of it was demo, and we really don't know what portion because we didn't see any plans. So we want to give everybody an opportunity, and so we're hoping to put that out to bid, if that is the decision of the commission.
But the deadline to submit is December 17th.
Yes, we got a proposal sometime, it was just this week,
Yeah, but I'm
Michelle?
saying some people may actually tomorrow submit some proposals.
Yeah,
That's
we
not
could.
fair, so-
It's not out of the possibility.
Mayor, I know that you gave 90 days, but the actual, I guess, blueprint of the property didn't come until maybe, 30 days or 45 days after?
No, we
We had
had
our
people
meeting?
out there, I don't know, we had people out there viewing the property
But we didn't have
maybe
an
a week or two
actual,
after. And also too,
but we didn't have an actual flyer for the property that went out, correct?
I didn't give, let's see.
No,
I know
we
it took a
didn't, if
while.
we're gonna do, we did not have a flyer that went out, even though it was announced that it's gonna be the December 17th. So what Commissioner Paris, and I'm assuming she's saying, is that it took 15 days or 20 days to put a flyer out, or 30 days. Should we wait until the end of January or February to do this? That's up to the commissioners and not us and staff.
But Mr. Fitch, I will say this, there's no, we're as staff, we're not saying December 17th, that's it, you must get your plan in, because we don't have anyone else who has submitted anything. So there's no, I don't think there's any, argument. If somebody submits on the
If you got somebody out
18th,
there that's saying, stop holding up and kicking the can down the road, you got somebody interested, see if they can substantiate
Yeah.
and move forward.
I think we're fine. I mean, we're fine to the end of the year. There's no reason for us to say, nope, if you got it in January 1, we're not accepting it. Absolutely not. You come in January 1 with a proposal, if it's to not demolish the building, because that was one of the things that you all were concerned about, was that we had someone who said, we're going to retain the building without demolishing it. And that's why we did this 90-day, open submittal.
So, change the subject. I'd like to take this home, look at this, and concentrate, because this is the first time I've actually, and I appreciate it, actually got figures. I feel it was more transparent. I mean, I've been up here 5 years, I've never gotten these figures like this.
But by the same token, you're saying the money's already pretty well allocated in terms of how it's going to, as of right now how it's going to be spent.
Okay, so you're talking about Midtown?
Oh,
No.
Oh, no.
What we have, even if the money is set aside, let's be clear, $25,000 is all I can spend. So even if we say as staff that we want to go do the roundabout, that has to come back before you all to get approval. So it may be allocated in such a way, but if you change your mind, you have that authority to do that. And so that's the thing. So even though staff, that's where we're getting to the priorities of going back to the master plan from 15-20. If you all change your mind and the money has not been spent, it can be changed at that meeting.
And now we know the money amount.
Correct. That's what I,
Okay.
Now, I say that, and at the same time, I'm also hearing Mr. Thomas say, but we know what we're spending for Midtown. We know what we'd like to spend for Midtown into March, correct?
And I say that, Commissioner May, because we are professional redevelopers. We know exactly what needs to happen in order to make this community better.
Okay, then let me ask the question. Out of the CRAs, which one is not quite set in stone? Which one do you feel you haven't completely allocated everything? In terms of a future plan, which one is it?
I would say the most difficult one is, difficult or not allocated, would be Blue Road. Because the North Beach, because we're limited to everything east of the right-of-way, we would love to acquire some of those properties and clean up those properties. There's a lot of derelict and blighted properties on North Beach that we would like to acquire, but it's not going to change unless you get in control of those properties. You have to get control of them.
but a lot of them are overpriced.
Absolutely. You're right. You've been watching. Yeah,
I
they
put
are.
them up all on the screen.
Yeah,
and I
there
don't
are,
think-
but there are some properties that don't have a for sale sign and the owners want to sell.
So.
But they're holding out.
The Ridgewood Strategic Cleanup Plan is part of the Belleau Road. How are you connecting those? Called the Ridgewood Strategic Cleanup Plan.
Because, well, it's not part of Belleau Road, it's part of downtown.
It's in, okay, it's in.
Yeah, I'm sorry, if it's on the Belleau list, it should be part of downtown, because downtown goes up to Ridgewood.
All right. So what we've asked, I guess, is I'm going to leave my book here, because what I want you all to do is those numbers, take those numbers and put them on a chart, put them in the back here. So I
Okay.
have those numbers.
Okay.
And I want to go over what you already have put here, because I do understand that a large part of what the plan is in place are plans that we have spoken about as commissions over the years. And there is a reason that those things are in place.
Yeah.
I personally while I'm all for safety and security, that's not what I believe to be the number one priority of a redevelopment. If you want to really redevelop an area, it takes an opportunity to create big projects. But I do understand safety because, you know, that's a major part of people wanting to be in a space.
Right.
If it's not safe.
Right.
But real redevelopment is meant to eliminate blight and to make the place more profitable to the municipality. So I look forward to receiving those numbers and being able to look at them and take a panoramic view of all of our CRAs. Okay. Mr. Manager?
Yeah, we will, Letitia and other staff members have taken all of the questions down. We'll send an email out to you all based off of what you asked for tonight. And then at the next meeting, we'll schedule, during our comments, we'll schedule for a follow-up workshop to do to get your priorities.
Commissioner Cantu, do you have a question?
Yeah, that's why I was getting ready to ask, when do we need to have this back to you? I don't want it to be like
Oh, no,
6
you won't,
months.
no, this is
Okay.
like if, we'll schedule a date at our next commission meeting on the 17th. During comments, I'll figure out, I may even send something out from Letitia's office to schedule something the first part of January.
So I have a couple of questions. I would like to know, what do you attribute the increase to? There were moments in the 2020, 2021, 2022, it was like a slow burn. Like there was a little bit of a blip and then it doubled in some CRAs. In some CRAs, it didn't move at all. So what do you attribute that to? That all of a sudden, by the time 2024, 25 hit, there was a doubling. What do you think happened?
Oh, there was an increase in property values. Yeah.
New
Yeah.
buildings came on. Think about,
No, I don't mean that. I mean
For
the fact
sale.
that people utilize
Purchase.
them. No.
Yeah.
People utilize the grant, so that's what happened. They bought.
Oh, you mean the grants?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
no,
that's what I
no.
want to know.
Well,
That's the one.
there are a couple of things that happened. One was we let people know we got grant money available. That was really the biggest thing because when we talked to the applicants, they said, well, we didn't know the city did this. The second thing is that we increased the grant that you could qualify for. And that, because, you know, if I'm running a restaurant and you only going to provide me with $5,000 is good, but I need more than $5,000. And so we increased the amount that they could qualify for, and that made it, you know, more realistic to.
I remember when we went to 50 as a
Yeah.
commission for the business grant,
Yeah.
so that was a big
Yeah.
one.
And it made it easy for them to apply to as well.
So why are some communities still not doing it?
All of the communities other than Bellew Road is doing it. I mean, Beachside, Midtown, we've all had increases. Downtown, Bellew Road is probably the only one who haven't,
Yeah,
really
there are
taken
tons of
advantage.
businesses there,
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know the type of businesses that are on the North Beach Street, so.
Can I just have a question about the South Atlantic CRA? Because year over year, we went down 10%. So what are we doing to address that?
Down, in what?
Property values.
I didn't notice that. I didn't notice a decrease in property values. I know we didn't
I'm
have a
sorry,
major
in total
uptake.
CRA revenue, which means that we either had no new construction or a decrease in taxable values, which is 10% from 2024 to 2025.
Oh, here comes.
Just one second, Mayor, she's gonna come here and talk about that.
Kylie Trevizzi, Budget Officer. You said 2025 Main Street CRA, correct?
No.
No?
South Atlantic,
I'm sorry.
yes.
So my understanding, based off of information that I got from the property appraiser's office when we were doing the annual trim notification, the decrease in property values in that area was mainly due to demolitions of property. So there were buildings that were there that are no longer there. And now it's just the taxable value of the land and not the additions on top of that. So whenever we do demolitions, that will affect the tax revenue in the long run until we build something back where it was at.
But we didn't do any demolitions. This was private property owners doing
It could
demolitions?
include, anywhere.
we wouldn't have any money on the tax.
It would be them. That's what I'm dealing with in Georgia. There's no longer a house on my property, so the value's gone down.
That's it.
Thank you. Get no money. All right, this concludes our meeting. You have anything else? All right.